always ends up working this way because I have books in my yarn dungeon that have been sitting and waiting for my attention, and then something like this comes out on Tuesday of this week, and I get it in my audiobooks because I had a credit. I was like, you know what? I like the mashup of it. I like this author wrote another book called How to Survive a Horror Movie? How to Survive a Horror Story. There we go. And I really, really liked that. I liked the tropes. They were kind of comfort tropes, what I like to call. Basically, I know the tropes that we're leading up into, but I'm not mad about it. They're comfy, they're cozy. I know the direction the book is gonna go, but I'm still interested and I still want to get to the end of it. So that was that book for me, all wrapped up in one. So I figured, you know what? Let's just give this author another try because I really liked that book. So I ordered it, sat down Tuesday night to do a little spinning since we are right in the middle of Tour de Fleece, and I finished it that night. So you and I are gonna have a little chit chat about Cross My Heart, I Hope You Die. The cover is stunning. It just screams Summerween. Does have sprayed edges. This is one I'm definitely considering having as a trophy copy because I just did not think I was gonna like it this much. Okay, you know what? Let me set everything up first, get into spinning before I start chit-chatting away and I don't spin any yarn. It's funny because it's not like this book had a ton of surprises that I didn't see coming. There were chapters leading up to that I knew the direction they were going and I still loved this book. I think it was just a story overall. I got sucked into it. I didn't want to leave the universe. It was so perfect for Summerween. Anytime there's slashers in the woods, secluded cabin, like that combination, that trope never gets old to me. I would suggest this one in audiobook form as well. I think the voice actor did a fantastic job. Actually, there were multiple people voicing. There was like Jason, the main character, and then the three girls. Did all three of them have different voices? I'm gonna have to go back and look at that. Even if it was just one person doing all three of the voices, I really felt like I was with each character as we were talking to that person. Okay, so we have one isolated cabin, one cheating boyfriend, one plan to get even. So right there, you're probably thinking, that's a tale as old as time. We have three people that have been vexed by the same boyfriend. Okay, obviously, this is the perfect setup for a slasher horror movie. It is so much worse though. From the beginning, they set it up in a way that this character was just vile and had no redeeming qualities. Even when we were like placed in Jason's chapter, he was like talking about himself and the situation that had gone on. He played the victim, which worked so well for all the things that happened afterwards and why I just like did not feel bad for him in the slightest of what was happening. I was just kind of like, well, you more than did this to yourself. So here it is. I was just ready to see what these three women had in store. And as soon as I heard that one of them had a cabin isolated, it hadn't been vacated in a very, very long time. They had no idea what the conditions were even like. So we have Nora, Ruby, and Sham, and they all are dating Jason, who obviously is trying his hardest to make it seem like he's only dating the one person. But within the first couple of chapters, each woman understands that there are some huge red flags about Jason, and they're just kind of ignoring them. The biggest thing that I thought was like, wow, the audacity. He was dating the three women. They were all in the same town. That's not even a spoiler. That is just to show how big Jason's ego is in this book. Same town, and did not think that they were ever gonna meet or bump into each other, which, I mean, depending on what type of town you're in, I suppose that's a possibility. But like, this is just setting up how just rotten of a character Jason is. Again, not a spoiler, because that's the entirety of this book. Eventually, the three women do end up meeting, and it was very serendipity how they met. It was basically their characters, like one of the big attributes of their character. Like one of them works as a mechanic and the other one has car problems. The chances are slim, but you know, hey, if they all live in the same town, this could totally be something that would happen between the three of them. So they find out that they're dating the same person, and justifiably so, are kind of pissed about it. Instead of turning on each other, they immediately turn on Jason. And all three of them kind of become friends. Again, I know this seems like a lot of spoiler, but it is basically in the blurb. By the time you figure all of this out, it's only like a couple chapters into the book. Needless to say, there is a lot that happens in this book. It felt like once I got on this roller coaster, we just took off. There was no brakes, all gas, and we sped to the final chapter. It was such a fun read. It was 10 hours and 58 minutes. That just says volumes to how much I loved this book. One setting, boom, done, start to finish. I did have a little bit of a break to get some water, stretch my legs a little bit, but I was sat for this entire book. So where does the cabin in the woods come into play? We have Ruby finds out that her birth parents left her this super spooky cabin in the woods that hasn't had people in it for a very long time. As far as they know, there's been nobody in there. There is running water and electricity, but at the time this is taking place, I want to say it's either the end of fall or early winter. And there's only one way up and down to this cabin. So she initially was going to get rid of it. And then when everything goes down with her boyfriend, she finds out he's seen two other women. They all three decide, you know what would be the best revenge is if we create basically our own scary movie scenario and scare him so much in this cabin to get him to admit to everything that he's done wrong. There are many, many things that we find out in the first couple of chapters that he's done to all three of these women, just on varying degrees. And obviously, they wanted all the things back that he had cheated them out of. But at the end of the day, they really wanted him to admit to everything that he'd done. So they're like, hey, let's have a slumber party and watch all these scary movies and kind of set up this scenario in this cabin now that we have it. Because since there is only one way up and down to this cabin on the top of a mountain in the middle of nowhere, we can set up this scenario. No one's gonna bother us. So that's how it gets set up. That's their intentions anyway. And we all know what happens with intentions in horror books. Immediately things start going awry. And that is officially where I'm gonna stop chit-chatting about this book, because anything more I tell you, it will be a spoiler, and this was just such a fun read. I don't want to take that away from you. So, cross my heart, I hope you die. 5 out of 5 bats for me. Sometimes these type of books are not books that I revisit. Like once I know the plot, start to finish, I close the book and I'm happy with how it ends. I don't need to revisit the characters. It was just kind of a fun popcorn ride. This though, I would definitely reread again. And I just never got to a point in the book where I thought, you know, that's enough. We've had the cliches, all of the tropes, one after the other. We can get off of all of this. No, I loved every single second. Every trope that popped up, it just really fit into the book for me. And especially while I was spinning, the pace that it moved at was just so enjoyable. Okay, I don't know what's going on with my fiber here today, but it is just loving me. I know that's a non-existent problem, but this is just crazy. I mean, it's so thin, very consistent. I think it's the fact that I have been spinning for quite a few days in a row now that when I pick the fiber up, I know what I'm doing. I know what I want out of this fiber, which is the entire point of practicing a craft. So I don't know why it's so surprising to me, but yeah, I'm feeling really good about this. Cross my heart, I hope you die. If you have a Summerween queue going right now, I know this is gonna be really bad and like a bad influence of me for saying this, bump it up on your queue. Like this is the time to read this one. Just from looking at the cover, I almost didn't start it right now. I was gonna save it until end of August, early September. I just felt like fall vibes, that's what it was giving. And even though there was snow on the mountains, it just felt like a Summerween read to me. You heard everything that I have to say about the book and it sounds interesting. Just bump it up in your queue. You're not going to be disappointed by it. Another thing I wanted to have a quick chit chat with you about is our July book club pick. So we have that. It's currently going on right now. We're going to meet back in the Yarn Dungeon August 1st to chit chat about that. So you have plenty of time to join if you want to, because we're going to be reading Slasher Summer. I'm not going to get into this at all because first and foremost, I'm not done with the book. If you've joined my book club over on Fable, you can see on the top bar that it's like, I read today, and it tells you the books that I'm reading. This one is still in there. When that is out of the slot, that means I'm finished with it, totally done. If I haven't rated it, but it's out of there, it just means I need more time to think about my ratings. I go pretty much on vibes for books that I like, and the ratings are all totally subjective to how I felt. So, just take my ratings how you will. I love a good read and also audiobooks as I'm crocheting or crafting. We just want a little bit of extra entertainment too. What I can tell you that I love about this book is the flop. There are just certain characteristics about tangible books that I love. It has absolutely nothing to do with the story. So yeah, this is our July pick, Slasher Summer, a fun, twisty tribute to the cult films of the 1980s. And you know that I love any sort of slasher 1980s throwback, love letter to, anything like that. I will absolutely give it a go. Since I was at the thrift store, I did have to go through the cozy murder mystery section. And if you've been hanging out with me for the past couple of days throughout Tour de Fleece, you know that I had said recently that I was at the thrift store, and I have quite a few cozy murder mysteries on my queue already. Well, I found some really fun spooky ones, and it's the Witch City Mysteries. I don't really know anything about it, but this was the book that caught my attention. The thing about cozy murder mysteries for me is that they know what they are and they just go full steam ahead. You typically get a very punny name for the book. The covers go all out. I get to go back to this universe time and time again, and this one I think is actually, like, there's a lot. These two are like the first in the series, and then this one, Death Scene, feels very, very new. Death Scene is literally, well, it's the last of this, but it came out in 2024, so there could definitely be more of them. But by this author alone, there's Witch City Mysteries. There's also an anthology book, Haunted Haven Mysteries. Okay, I might actually have to check that one out. It looks like there's 3 already in there. This is what I want to fill up my 100 Nights of Halloween with. Not only do I devour these books, but they are amazing pieces of decor afterwards. Okay, so here's the first one. Caught Dead-Handed. Cute little tabby cat on there. Oh, and then this is based in Salem too. So we have the Salem Witch House in the back, or no, that's not the Salem Witch House. We have the Witch House on this one. That makes me want October to be here right now. I can hear the crunchy leaves in this picture. The other one I got, Tales You Lose, Spooky Little Attic, Spooky Little Ghost, Spooky Little Cat. I have all my books down here. Well, I don't have all of them. I've kind of been transitioning. I had a bunch of my books in my movie room and also in my bedroom. Don't ask me why. I don't know. I just had it all over the place, and I thought, you know what? Let's just put it all in one area. So this is now going to be my little library in the Yarn Dungeon. What was the other one that I had? Oh, yes, this one, Shady Hollow. Oh my gosh, this book is so cozy. It's about animals that solve murder mysteries. A mystery of rare and sinister charm. I mean, the cover is just so freaking pretty, and it makes me want a cup of tea. Actually, I should have done that. I didn't make any tea or coffee today. Wow, that is, write it down. That's one for the books. If you haven't read this one or heard about it, there are quite a few in the series. I think I've read 3 so far, and there's a cute little map at the beginning of it telling you about the characters, where they live, the cute little small town that they have. There's a sawmill, we have the downtown, the Herald office, because one of the main characters, the fox, is a reporter. Not witchy at all, but would be perfect for fall. Once I get all of my books down here, we definitely need to go through all 15. Well, it's going to be a big stack. It's going to be way more than 15, but we need to go through all of them. I need to put it down in my planner. You and I will have a whole on book chat about all the books that I have planned for the 100 Nights of Halloween. So that will be in the very near future. It's going to be a fantastic Halloween. So it is starting now officially. If no one has told you yet, happy Halloween. We are officially here. I am going to keep spinning up some of this fiber for Tour de Fleece. I'm going to keep working on that tonight. Let me know if you get into Cross My Heart, I Hope You Die. And if you loved it or you hated it, either way, let me know in the comments. For now, I'm going to let you go. So have a super spooky rest of your night, and I will see you tomorrow back in the Yarn Dungeon.